Violet Francis. I've been with you for years.
A safe space for her to express painful feelings from her past, which also engages part of her brain to process the trauma in a better way. Olivia Komgisha, Bidibidi, Yumbe District.
I met the people behind the Media Challenge they say 9 years ago. I can't even remember the year. It was quite some time back. But there were, I think, 3 or 4 young gentlemen who came to me with a lady, and they came with the idea. And I believed in them at that time, and I know they did not even have the money. But what gave me the impetus to go ahead was the hope in their faces, and the fact that they looked at me with so much promise. And I believed at that point that this was it. This is what Uganda needed.
And these young men were very interesting, and they were trying to, identify people within universities that had a skill that was employable, or that different media houses would be interested in. But secondly, they were trying to change the way journalism was in this country, because a lot of our journalism is theoretical, and so you don't have a lot of practical work done at the universities, which the field demands. And so for me, this was a fantastic idea. And at that time, we may not have had the resources at my previous employment to support the initiative, which is one thing they also needed. But we provided an opportunity for them to use the resources we had, the physical resources like equipment, to be able to participate in the challenge.
The 25th of October 2014, and thanks for watching Uncut Television. I'm Felicity Mandela.
And I'm Michael Ojula.
As we bring you fresh stories and so much more. But first, the headlines.
When Media Challenge started, it was amorphous. It was not shaped. Even we, the judges, did not quite understand where it was heading.
Personally, I worked with the Media Challenge initiative in 2 capacities. One as a program manager at the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, where I basically contributed towards shaping their programming and making sure that we get the best out of the programs that they run, most specifically the Next Gen Fellowship Program, but also having an engagement with university students who are getting trained in various aspects of media, both digital and conventional. So seeing them and watching young journalists pass through their MCI's programs and reach the apex of professional journalism practice gives me joy. It gladdens my heart. But also, I've worked with Media Challenge Initiative as the co-founder of Rise Up, a program that I co-founded and ran with urban refugees.
So the first time that I actually heard about Abbas and MCI was in 2017 through an article in the Huffington Post, which introduced the work of MCI, and we got really, really curious. I remember that I was talking to my colleague in Germany, and we really liked what we read about MCI, so we decided that we would like to get to know Abbas and the team. And then Abbas and I met in our office, and he introduced us to the whole cycle of
with me, I will be talking to the MCI. No. I'll be talking to the Media Challenge Initiative CEO, Mr. Abbas Mpindi, but I will first take it to my colleague at the studio, Craig, to.
Thank you, Joe, and good morning, and welcome to the show. This is the MCI Digest, and I am Craig Barija, and I shall be your moderator for today. Of course, we will be talking about some of the issues that have been at the hearts of the fellows during the fellowship this week, and my panel includes...
Mungeni Yvonne Isabella. Hello, good morning, viewers.
My name is Yada Wanjiko. Good morning.
And my name is Lyman Ferras. Well, thank you.
And we will be starting off with the first question that I'll have for my panel, and that is quite simple. Is the future of journalism doomed? I shall start with Yvonne.
Thank you, Craig. The future of journalism, I do not think is all doomed and crushed and down. Why? Because if you see the point at which we have reached, the shifts at which we have taken, people have shifted from the traditional era of having to go down maybe to the editors to look for news. There is a new trend that is evolving where people can actually get news faster. So I think that as journalism, we are growing, but how are we growing? Are we using the sect that we are in? Are we using the platforms rightly to be able to distribute this journalism well? Otherwise, I think we are growing immensely well if we put it to good use.
Thank you, but doesn't that beg the question that with the advent of social media, traditional journalism has literally suffered a second death?
In my opinion, when talking about the future of journalism and looking at the presence of social media, I feel social media has just come as a bonus to us. It just makes work much easier. Journalism is a practice that needs people, because social media is not going to go out there and actually interview people. Social media is just a platform to pass on the information that these people get from the field. When they talk to people, when they interact with them, when they interact with their situations and put it out there. So we should not look at social media as, a threat. At the end of the day, whatever is on social media is a rumor until a journalist can come and, But looking at it as a threat to traditional journalism, I'd look at it as a bonus instead.
Speaking of the future of journalism, I want to go back to Joy in the field. I would want to know what the Media Challenge CEO has to say about the future of journalism in this country, as the fellowship is a platform for young journalists to get the inspiration they need to succeed. So, to you, Joy in the field.
Thank you very much, Craig. And right now we are joined by the CEO of Media Challenge Initiative, and we'll be finding out his opinion about the future of Ugandan journalism. You're very welcome, Mr. Abbas.
Thank you for hosting me.
Okay.
Yes.
We want to find out what is your opinion about the future of journalism in Uganda.
Yeah, I don't think even my opinion is very important in this conversation, because there are people like you who are, young, upcoming journalists where we have hope. So there may be challenges with fake news, challenges with, money because of the coming in place of giants like Google on the internet. But at the same time, you can see that there are innovators who are coming up with different models where you can say the future of journalism right now looks bleak and challenged, but it's headed to the right place. So we're safe, I would say.
Okay, so in your opinion, you think we are still going on the right track? Do you think we have gone astray somewhere? Do you think there is something we have to fix to make journalism a better profession, a better career? Or do you think we have to emulate the past, the veterans in journalism? Or you actually think there is something we can do different, there is going to be an option for the future journalists to emulate from us?
Of course, times are changing, so as journalists, you must change with the times, but also continue to uphold the ethics of journalism. So if everyone is saying the future of journalism is digital, it means that you have to upgrade your skills to better, occupy those spaces on digital platforms. But if we're also looking at, challenges to do with, businesses and business models, then you're looking at innovations that will have to, give media more money so that we can be assured of independence of the media. So all those things come because certain individuals like you, journalists, media innovators, come into play to come up with ideas. So that's what I think about that.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of independence of media, how independent do you think the Ugandan media is?
I think that's also a very tricky question because you would have to do a lot of comparisons on the landscape. I would say that a lot needs to be done. We are not anywhere where we want to be in terms of independence of the media. But it's also, I would say, you know, I don't want to go academic in terms of like, what is the independence of the media like on the landscape? What I would say though is a lot needs to be done across the board. So from independence of the media financially to the independence of the media politically and how the powers that be will abuse press freedom and journalists' rights. All that is going on and all that needs to be checked.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abbas Mpindi. Such wise words from a wise person. Back to the studio with my colleague Craig.
Thank you, Joy. The question I now have is, we had Mr. Raymond Mujini speak to the fellows over the course of the week, and he spoke about investigative journalism. Now, what exactly is the point of reporting on investigative journalism when we cannot see a direct impact? Like, why bother at all? So,
first of all, investigative journalism refers to the unveiling of matters concealed from someone within a position of power who accidentally deliberate by okay. The whole instance of investigative journalism is, first of all, investigation to bring out the truth. Investigative journalism basically is there to shake those in power. You go deep into investigating a matter that is maybe affecting the community, first of all. So there won't be a direct impact, I believe, before the story comes out. But after the story comes out, those in power have to check in and then fight to see that maybe the matter that is affecting the people is really worked on.
And, but you see, why bother? Because I believe investigative journalism only has a very limited impact. I mean, you want to create a big story on, for example, stealing from the less privileged, but have you actually gone down to the grassroots level? What have you done as a journalist to make sure that the stories, the needs, are met for these less privileged people?
First of all, the role of journalism, there are three, basically. One is to educate, entertain, and another one is to inform. Doing a story like stealing from the sick, as a journalist, maybe you do not gain a lot, but you're helping the community. Why? One, look at the person who cannot even afford to pay for a meal. She falls sick, goes to the hospital, finds no medicine there. The medicine comes, but there is this one person who thinks he has a lot of money, who gets this medicine maybe to take it somewhere else. As a journalist, I do this story, not to gain something much, but to help the community. Look, the government will look, okay, people responsible will look, and this person maybe doing this, okay, this person that is trying to hurt the community indirectly will be accountable for his actions.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne.
Craig, I want to say that there is power in the pen, like everything you pen down. As journalists, we have power when we write. So it is, maybe it could look like there is actually no impact, but I think I beg to default. There is impact created at the end of the day because everything you pen down has a lasting impression. It is going to go down in records. It is going to be heartfelt. It is going to be somewhere on someone's heart. It is going to touch an organization to reach out to get. So we are not just closing up and being like, because there is social evil, we should ignore it, maybe because our leaders are insensitive to it. No, we pen down this as journalists because we know at the end of the day, there is going to be impact created, and there is impact created actually to a minimal extent, however minimal it is.
In addition to that, when you're talking about the impact of investigative journalism, for every story covered, there is something that is exposed. And for every exposition, there is a reputation ruined and an issue highlighted.
And
when a reputation, exactly. When a reputation is ruined, somebody is going to fight hard to make sure that it is recovered. Yes. If it is the government, they're going to want to, maybe cover that up and put it, together and make sure their reputation is built. If there is an issue, they're going to want to say, oh, there's an issue, it has been highlighted. People are going to question, what are we doing about it? And it is going to put people to action. So I feel even if the impact of investigative journalism is not really felt, it's not only about, you know, the fun of looking through the journey that these people have taken, it's more about the result. And the result is there, much as many people will not notice it.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole discussion reminds me of immovable object meeting a strong force. I mean, you are reporting on issues that are pertinent, yes, but I feel like a systematic problem. Uganda, by definition, for some people, might be considered a dictatorship. But let me ask you, do you think Uganda is a democracy or a dictatorship?
I think when we are talking about democracy, we narrow down to social, political, and economic aspects. So we are looking at aspects like, does Uganda have a population that is educated enough to be able to take part in intelligence issues, intellectual issues? Are they economically stable enough to be able to stand up and put up a stable economy? Politics, is there a free and fair election process? Like, are people participatory in their democratic system? So I think we have to zero down to all that. So if we look at all that, does Uganda qualify to be part of those aspects, those few that I've mentioned, to mention but a few? And if there are questions maybe that are in the nature of those, then I beg that I put back the question to you to think whether Uganda is a dictatorship or not.
I feel like these are all issues that fellows throughout the week during the MCI Fellowship had influenced and discussed about. And let this be our final question for the day. I want to ask each of you as fellows, as future journalists, as people who are intellectually competent. I pose the question, do African Americans as responsible for culture appropriation as white people?
Basically, I would say, the way they bring it out matters a lot. Because first of all, if you bring an African American to expose or maybe bring out something, like maybe to represent the culture, how will he or she bring it out? Okay, are they really informed enough about this culture? Yes, they might be informed. Are they really? Do they really belong to that culture? You know, we have the norms and all that kind of stuff. Okay, the way they bring it out at times they end up violating it. So I think they aren't the right people to bring it out.
Are African Americans as responsible as the other Americans when it comes to cultural appropriation? When looking at that, I feel this is a question of value and perspective. We all have different points of view. We're going to look at different things different. But if people are going to be stereotypical about certain matters, it is you to choose. Am I going to follow their line of view? Am I going to make it different? How am I going to perceive something? So I feel, yes, there's that, dominating voice, but the fact that these people have chosen to listen and have chosen to believe what they have been told without refuting maybe, or without trying to challenge, I feel, yes, that makes them as much responsible as everyone else who's trying to be maybe stereotypical or, yeah.
Finally, Yvonne.
As much responsible, I'm not sure. Should we actually blame them for the fact that they were raised outside? I don't know. But I think growing up in a society that is different, I for one, I can't literally put them on the spot for being responsible for maybe cultural clashes between the race that they look like and probably where they grew up from. Yeah, but we can say, maybe like Yada has said, to put initiative to try and find out their races. It could be a bit challenging, but maybe they could take interest in the African race because of the color. You'd be like, let's go find out what is it in Africa? What can we do to be able to put Africa out there to be better? Yeah, because entirely we cannot say that they're at fault. They were there and they have been raised in a totally different sort of culture. They have been raised in a totally different way to live. They have been raised as whites. So to add on, maybe they should engage more with the African race. They should help us, put us out there more. Yeah, that's
Actually, I
what
don't
can
agree with you at a point. Why? If at all you want something, there is no one that is going to force you to do it. You know, they first of all have to have passion for their races. If at all you come from a different race, find it. Why do I have to help you find your way? Like, I cannot help you find what you want. You have to help yourself find what you want. If at all they want to be Africans, like if at all they want to follow their races, let them do it themselves.
It is okay, Suleiman. It is a question of yes, one following their races, but it is also challenging because you realize that so many people maybe left Africa a long time ago. So you find that digging down to their books could be quite difficult. So that is why I've said, because they look like us, probably they may not be aware or be critically sure of where they exactly come from in Africa, but they could take steps to find out what is it about the African race that we can do to help, because we look like them, because we share a skin color like them. So probably there are things we can do to put out there.
So you mean you have to go back to the story of the lost sheep?
To be honest, I think when it comes to the matter of, you know, origin and culture and who people are, their identity, these people have grown up from, you know, abroad and all that. And that is where they belong. Yes, they have roots, they have history, but that is where they are born, that is their origin. Saying that, you know, they should trace back to their roots and try to see what is happening, who they are. I feel this is just a question of perspective. What do you know? What do you hear? What is actually on ground? So I feel if somebody is going to make a conclusion, draw a conclusion on a particular matter, then they need to actually experience this so that they can be able to tell, is this what it really is? Is this what it isn't? So this whole issue of, you know, I feel...
Well, now I think the question can only be answered by you or viewers at home. Be sure to engage with us on social media platforms and Media Challenge UG. And this is the creative environment that was created during the fellowship. And we shall continue to give you our perspectives and our opinions to make the world a better place. Signing out for the MC Digest, I'm Craig Barrage. Thank you.
My name is Barley Francis. I've been with you for years on end.
People like Abbas Mpinde, a journalist from Uganda who founded the Media Challenge Initiative to help other young people get the training they need to tell the stories that the world needs to know.
Media Challenge Initiative is a youth-driven non-profit building the next generation of young journalists in Africa through mentorship, training, and experiential peer-to-peer learning.
We believe that good journalism can make the world a better place.
We believe that the next generation of journalists is very essential in defining the future world through the stories they tell and how they tell them.
Auma says coloring during therapy creates a safe space for her to express painful feelings from her past, which also engages part of her brain to process the trauma in a better way. Olivia Komgisha, Bidibidi, Yumbe District.
I met the people behind the Media Challenge in, they say 9 years ago. I can't even remember the year. It was quite some time back. But there were, I think, 3 or 4 young gentlemen who came to me with a lady, and they came with the idea. And I believed in them at that time, and I know they did not even have the money. But what gave me the impetus to go ahead was the hope in their faces, and the fact that they looked at me with so much promise. And I believed at that point that this was it. This is what Uganda needed.
And these young men were very interesting, and they were trying to, you know, identify people within universities that had a skill that was employable, or that different media houses would be interested in. But secondly, they were trying to change the way journalism was in this country, because a lot of our journalism is theoretical, and so you don't have a lot of practical work done at the universities, which the field demands. And so for me, this was a fantastic idea. And at that time, we may not have had the resources at my previous employment to support the initiative, which is one thing they also needed. but we provided an opportunity for them to use the resources we had, the physical resources like equipment, to be able to participate in the challenge.
The 25th of October 2014, and thanks for watching UNCAT Television. I am Felicity Mandela.
And I'm Michael Ojula.
As we bring you fresh stories and so much more. But first, the headlines.
When Media Challenge started, it was amorphous. It was not shaped. Even we, the judges, did not quite understand where it was heading.
Personally, I worked with the Media Challenge initiative in two capacities. One as a program manager at the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, where I basically contributed towards shaping their programming and making sure that we get the best out of the programs that they run, most specifically the Next Gen Fellowship Program, but also having an engagement with university students who are getting trained in various aspects of media, both digital and conventional. So seeing them and watching young journalists pass through their MCI's programs and reach the apex of professional journalism practice gives me joy. It gladdens my heart. But also, I've worked with Media Challenge Initiative as the co-founder of Rise Up, a program that I co-founded and ran with urban refugees.
So the first time that I actually heard about Abbas and MCI was in 2017 through an article in the Huffington Post, which introduced the work of MCI, and we got really, really curious. I remember that I was talking to my colleague in Germany and we really liked what we read about MCI, so we decided that we would like to.
A very good morning and thank you for watching MCI TV, and in particular watching the morning call show that actually happens every Saturday where we take you through what has actually transpired throughout the week, and we usher you into a beautiful weekend, and of course we take you through a Saturday. And I'm so super excited working with such an amazing team. Of course my brother Kevin, and of course my beautiful sister Shadia right here.
Thank you. As already said, my name is Shadia Nazwa, and don't forget to follow our different social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. We are live on YouTube, Media Challenge Fellowship 2020.
Absolutely, we are super excited. Scholars have been excited from the first day. People looked forward to this. Sincerely, people looked forward to this.
I know.
Yes, and we can say it has been a success so far. I mean, we still got a couple more hours to go, but so far so good. I feel like we're there.
I mean, on a Monday, I know that actually some people who actually did sleep. I mean, this person is at home, I mean, trying to prepare, preparing your clothes, this is the shoe that will work for me. I mean, on a Tuesday, some people were actually here.
At 10. Some people came here at 10, early in the morning at 10, just waiting for the rest to come.
Yeah, I believe it's a good thing because people showed the passion for it. Yeah, they were really looking forward to this, and it's been a learning process.
And man, I didn't really expect this. When we reached here, it looked more of a retreat, like we've met before, and of course we had taken some good time without meeting. Now it's a retreat because man, we just went down to Chikoni for Chikomando the first day.
No, some of us, like, not everyone actually bonded in that fast, because, you know, we are all different, and some people were to themselves at first and are now opening up to everyone. So I think it is just a whole process. We are still getting to know each other, and yeah, so.
But that really stood out for me. Like, okay, I was live on someone's Facebook page that I even didn't know her name very well, but okay, I'm like, as if we've met before, as if we are friends. You understand this feeling?
Yeah, sure, it's been a process anyway, but let's say altogether it's something that is very positive to us as fellows. Yes, sure.
And on a Wednesday?
On Wednesday, of course, we arrived on Tuesday, and then we had our dinner and everything, and then, so Wednesday, first thing in the morning, we had, you know, the introduction to what is going to happen, everything. We had this introduction by the amazing CEO, Abbas Mpindi, and then we had our very first session with Solomon Seranja about investigative journalism, and then we went on to goal setting again by Abbas Mpindi, and then we had a WordPress session with Antonio, and then
we had Raymond Mujuni for investigative journalism as well. And then finally, late at night, we had Kanari Mugume for an anchoring session.
I mean, with that goal setting, a bit of it, it questioned my professionalism. I mean, why do I even fall?
Yeah.
Do I even have a dream? How is my vision and all that kind? I mean, that goal setting was really challenging to me.
Yes, and I'd like to comment on Solomon's investigative journalism segment. It is something that stood out for me and to many people as well. And people have been looking forward to this investigative journalism. How do you guys do it? How do you manage to do what you do and still remain safe and still go back to your home every night?
And then there is a way it looked a little bit confusing. I mean, Raymond, Solomon Seranje came and talked about probably you're an anchor, that is nothing.
Yeah.
And then Canary comes and then he's like, I do a lot of things, and I know him more of anchoring.
Yeah, so I think the biggest lesson we picked that day that is beyond the anchoring, beyond going to stand in front of these cameras and you're reading the news, there is a lot more input that we have to always put in as journalists.
Then the Thursday,
on Thursday, of course, we had amazing sessions. We had people who came to talk to us, people who are really instrumental to us as journalists. For example, I was able to see one Daniel Lutaya, somebody I've always seen on TV, and this was really, his sections was really, I mean, it was something for me. Yeah.
For me particularly, I feel like this whole thing has been a marathon, because on the very first day I was not expecting to see all those people. Seeing Solomon, seeing Canary, all in the same day, just like, hey, these people are coming with a lot of fire. Like, we're already starting on very big, so that was really an amazing thing for me.
And man, there is a way I really even got scared. I had not sat in a room for, since morning. You just go out for something like 15 minutes, then come back for another session. Oh my, this was really a lot for me, but now I'm getting used. I think I'm now good. I'm fit to go. Yep.
You're not dozing anymore.
I can't doze anymore.
Yeah. So I think the whole idea of being in that place is, of course we sit for long hours, but it's something we were mentally prepared for, it's something we were psychologically prepared for, plus the content we receive is something worth sitting a whole day for. Yes, absolutely.
And when on a Friday, it was this, learning on how to write, basically talking about the entertainment industry, and then particularly the movie industry, and field work, going to the field. I'm really sure some people went, and I'm sure they did come up with stories. They did come back with stories.
Yes.
And then this pressure that the CEO, Mr. Mpindi Abbas, was putting on us. In 5 minutes, you need to have a story. So, but on that day, I really spotted out movie industry, like the movie industry, the entertainment industry, and how Africans do their stories. there is a way we want us to be portrayed, and then there is a way these people are showing our lives. Yeah, so it was really a bit challenging.
For me, what really stood out yesterday was after the movie, the interactions we had. It made me realize how diverse we all are, because the things some people were saying I could not even think of, and I could not even believe. So it just made me realize how different people react to different things and situations and all that.
Yeah, I was going to say that I actually enjoyed the discussion after the movie more than the movie itself. And these people are amazing. They had amazing ideas, and they made me discover, and like if I go back to watch Coming to America 2 again, there is that what I'd be looking for from the discussions we had last night.
Well, I personally, my Charentine divorced. We were given partners that actually are going to be with us on the Chalentine's Day, and my Chalentine literally divorced after hearing my perspective
it's the varying opinions. Sorry about that.
All right, after all this, I'll take you down to Kabalagala, where our reporter Rachel will be giving you what is actually transpiring out there on a Saturday. Rachel?
Thank you, Isaac. A very good morning to everyone. I am Rachel Atwonjere reporting live from Kabalagara from the Media Challenge Hub. This is the new home for MCI. I mean, everyone is excited. This place is amazing. It's basically where the magic happens. And looking at the fellows, everyone is so expectant about what is going to happen today because there is a lot of space for everything. There is equipment for everything. There is equipment for photography. There is equipment for video features. So everyone is looking forward to doing something at the end of the day. I think comparing this place to the previous location, everyone is looking at this place like, this is what I came here for. This is why I've been here all this time. And of course, I'll be giving you every single detail about what will happen throughout the day. You just need to sit tight and do not go anywhere. I'll be giving you every detail that happens, and right now I'll take you back to the studios where my colleagues are. Just sit tight. There is more happenings to come. There is more exciting to come.
Well, Rachel, before I actually let you go, can you please tell us some of the activities that have actually taken place down at the Media Hub?
Thank you, Isaac. One of the activities that have taken place, one of the groups among the whole fellowship, they had their presentation, which was quite amazing. These people, it's like they have known this from the beginning. I could actually say, what are they doing here? But of course, we had other fellows engaging in everything, taking pictures, tweeting. People are so excited. I mean, this is a good experience for everyone.
All right, this will be the last. Rachel, what has really stood out for you? I mean, when you reached out the Media Hub, you're like, okay, now this is my spot.
What stood out for me was the space. There is an opportunity for everything. Comparing to where we have been, there has been small space, small equipment, but here everyone has something to do. And they're actually feeling at home, like this is where I belong. I really loved that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Rachel, down in Kabalagala. Of course, before we actually end this show, I have a challenge of the week. Of course, you can go down on our social media platforms, that is on Facebook, Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Leave a comment. Try doing a video of this challenge, and of course, you can win a gift. And of course, I'll start with you. A box mixed biscuits in a biscuit mixer.
Oh, that is a tongue twister, and I think people should really participate in that. We have amazing gifts, like you said. Let them participate. Let's see who gets to scope that gift.
Do I have to read from there?
You can do anything. I mean, it's a tongue twister, like
a box what?
A box mixed biscuits in a biscuit mixer.
A box mixed
we should probably look that.
A box mixed biscuits in a big mixer.
Well, thank you very much for watching. You can actually stand to win a shirt or a bottle, actually, if you do this in a very perfect manner. My name is Isaac Akampura. Till we meet again on Saturday.
And my
People like Abbas Mpinde, a journalist from Uganda who founded the Media Challenge Initiative to help other young people get the training they need to tell the stories that the world needs to know.
Media Challenge Initiative is a youth-driven non-profit building the next generation of young journalists in Africa through mentorship, training, and experiential peer-to-peer learning.
We believe that good journalism can make the world a better place.
We believe that the next generation of journalists is very essential in defining the future world through the stories they tell and how they tell them.
Auma says coloring during therapy creates a safe space for her to express painful feelings from her past, which also engages part of her brain to process the trauma in a better way. Olivia Komgisha, Bidibidi, Yumbe District.
I met the people behind the Media Challenge they say 9 years ago. I can't even remember the year. It was quite some time back. But there were, I think 3 or 4 young gentlemen who came to me with a lady, and they came with the idea. And I believed in them at that time, and I know they did not even have the money. But what gave me the impetus to go ahead was the hope in their faces, and the fact that they looked at me with so much promise. And I believed at that point that this was it. This is what Uganda needed.
And these young men were very interesting, and they were trying to, you know, identify people within universities that had a skill that was employable, or that different media houses would be interested in. But secondly, they were trying to change the way journalism was in this country, because a lot of our journalism is theoretical, and so you don't have a lot of practical work done at the universities, which the field demands. And so for me, this was a fantastic idea. And at that time, we may not have had the resources at my previous employment to support the initiative, which is one thing they also needed. But we provided an opportunity for them to use the resources we had, the physical resources like equipment, to be able to participate in the challenge.
The 25th of October 2014, and thanks for watching UNCAT Television. I'm Felicity Mandela.
And I'm Michael Ojula.
As we bring you fresh stories and so much more. But first, the headlines.
When Media Challenge started, it was amorphous. It was not shaped. Even we, the judges, did not quite understand where it was heading.
Personally, I worked with the Media Challenge initiative in 2 capacities. One as a program manager at the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, where I basically contributed towards shaping their programming and making sure that we get the best out of the programs that they run, most specifically the Next Gen Fellowship Program, but also having an engagement with university students who are getting trained in various aspects of media, both digital and conventional. So seeing them and watching young journalists